Job chapter 1. You know, I've been tremendously blessed by a word from Satan's mouth. Have you ever thought of being blessed by a word from Satan's mouth? Believe it or not, I have been. He accidentally slipped up and said something which blessed me. I'll tell you what it is. Here we read about a conversation between God and Satan, and tell me if it doesn't bless you. The Lord said to Satan in Job chapter 1 verse 8, "Have you considered my servant Job? There's no one like him on the whole earth, a blameless and an upright man, fearing God and turning away from evil." And Satan answered the Lord saying, "Does Job fear God for nothing? You have blessed him in so many ways. You've given him 10 healthy children, and they're all healthy, and you've given them houses and lands, and he's so wealthy, and he's got so much cattle. He's got verse 3 says 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels. He was greatest man in the east, means he was one of the richest men in the whole world. That's what it says in verse 3. And Satan says, that's why he fears you, because you blessed him. And listen to this. This is the word that blessed me, which came out of his mouth. You have made a hedge, verse 10, around him, around his family, and around his property. 3 hedges. Now, do you know there's not a single other verse in the entire Bible that says that? How do I know there are 3 hedges around me, my family, and my property? Because of Satan's word. Thank God it slipped out of his mouth. He said it to Satan. He said it to God. I mean, he's a liar, but he can't tell God a lie. He tells lies to us, but he never tells God a lie. And when he said, haven't you made God, Satan could see it. There's a hedge around him. There's a hedge around his family. There's a hedge around his property. I can't touch him. I can't touch one of his 7,000 sheep. I can't touch one of his 3,000 camels. Well, naturally he'll be blessed. And God said, okay, you can put forth your hand now and touch him. That means I'm going to open up this hedge so that you can touch him. And Satan said in verse 11, if you allow me to do it, he'll curse you. And the Lord said, okay. See what the Lord said. All that he has is in your power. That means hedge number, outer hedge, his property. And the second hedge, which is his children and his wife. You can touch all that, but him, the third hedge, himself, don't you dare go into that third hedge. You can't touch him. That's what he says in verse 12. On these 3 hedges, Satan, I give you, if I were to paraphrase that, Satan, I give you power to go through hedge number 1, his property, hedge number 2, his children and his wife, but don't go to hedge number 3, that's closed. And that's all that Satan could do. So, God, Satan went out and stirred up some of the enemies of from the surrounding places, and they came and they killed all the oxen and donkeys, it says in verse 14. The Sabians came and slew all of them. And then the fire of God came from heaven. They thought it was the fire of God. Satan sent fire. He's got power to send fire. Did you know the first person who sent fire from heaven is not Elijah, but Satan? He's got power. And it fell from heaven, burnt up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. And then the Chaldeans came in 3 bands in verse 17 and raided the camels. Satan all stirred up. The hedge is opened up and Satan says, I'm going to go all out and take away everything. He killed all his property, 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, all destroyed by fire and by raid from enemies. And then, verse 18, the sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house, and a wind came from heaven and struck. Do you know the devil's got power to send a hurricane to destroy the 4 corners of the house? It fell on the young people and they all died. Hedge number 1, all the property gone. Hedge number 2, all the children killed. Now the question comes, why didn't he kill his wife? Satan said, well, that woman is a greater help to me. I can keep on nagging Job through her, so I won't kill him. I'll just keep her there alive so that she can serve me and keep on troubling. Satan knows whom to kill and whom not to kill. But he couldn't touch Job. And Job fell down and worshipped God and said, okay, I can't complain. Verse 21, the Lord gave and the Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And then the Lord said to Satan, chapter 2, verse 2. Verse 3, have you seen whatever you have incited me? Chapter 2, verse 3, the last part. You incited me to ruin him, but he is still serving me and worshiping me. And Satan said, yeah, that's because you did not allow me to let him go. You did not allow me to go through hedge number 3. You let me go through hedge number 3 and then let me see whether he still serves you. And then God said, yeah, I'll allow you to go to hedge number 3, but a limitation. You can only touch his body, verse 6, but you can't take away his life. So Satan went out and smote him, verse 7, with boils. The first person who brought sickness upon a human being was the devil. And he has the power to bring sickness, but only with God's permission. Remember, he couldn't touch him. It's a wonderful thing to see this. These 3, I'll tell you, I told you this word of sickness blessed me so much. That there are 3 hedges around me. The first hedge is around my house, any real estate you own, your bank account. You know there's a hedge around your bank account if you're a child of God. If you're not a child of God, there are no hedges. You're open to the devil completely. But if you're a child of God, you've given your life completely to Jesus Christ as Lord of your life, as I have done. I know there's a hedge around any property I have. There's a hedge around every bank account I have. And there's a hedge around, the second hedge is around my children and my wife. And the third hedge is around me, my health, my life, my body. I believe that with all my heart. I can see that so clearly in chapter 1 and 2. And only when a hedge is opened up, the devil can come through. So, you know, if somebody stole something of mine, or some of my money was lost or property was ruined, I say, okay, Lord, you allowed that hedge to be opened up, fine. The Lord gave, the Lord's taken away, blessed be the name of the Lord. Or if some sickness is allowed to come upon my children or my wife or anything, okay, Lord, you opened up that hedge as well. And if it comes to me, some sickness, okay, Lord, you allowed that all. But I have this promise in 1 Corinthians 10:13. What is that? No temptation or trial will ever come to you which is too much for you to bear. Job did not have that promise.